Welcome to America This Week, and what a week it is again. 2020 continues to live up to its reputation. The president, first lady, and others in the White House and Congress test positive for the coronavirus. And the nation watches as Vice President Mike Pence and Democratic vice presidential nominee Kamala Harris take the debate stage. Oh, and the election less than a month away. I'll be here to bring you whatever else 2020 throws our way, the good, the bad, the unbelievable, and the undeniable. The saying goes, once is chance, twice is coincidence, three times is a pattern. In writing, we tend to use the rule of three for dramatic effect. The founders used the rule of three in the Declaration of Independence, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Teachers use the rule of three to help school kids remember things like stop, drop, and roll. Even politicians use the rule of three. Biden's campaign slogan is Build Back Better, and Trump went with Keep America Great. There's the Three Musketeers. Moe, Larry, and Curly were the Three Stooges. Personally, I'm Team Curly, not Team Shemp. There are three branches of government: legislative, executive, and judicial. Christians believe the Holy Trinity is comprised of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. There are threes all over the place. Again, once is chance, twice is coincidence, three times is a pattern. So what would you call five times? Scientists have a term for something that happens over and over and over again. It's called a super pattern. Many people noticed a comment Joe Biden made recently, a comment that really didn't call for specificity of race.
The reason I was able to stay sequestered in my home is because some black woman was able to stack the grocery shelf.
Some said it was racially insensitive to highlight the women's race. After all, people of all races work in grocery stores, presumably stocking shelves. Okay, maybe a slip of tongue. Again, once is chance. But what about when Joe Biden said this about the Latino community being more diverse than the black community?
And by the way, what you all know, but most people don't know, unlike the African-American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things.
Twice coincidence, perhaps. Or perhaps not, because here's example three.
You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. I'm not joking.
Example four.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
Example five, and possibly the worst example of racial insensitivity.
But I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
At some point, people have to stop covering for this man. Once is chance, three's a pattern, five's a situation. No, not that situation, a situation. Hey, Joe, I just thought of another three in popular culture. From baseball, a game I used to know pretty well. 3 strikes, you're out. But 5, even liberal umpires can't give 5 strikes a pass. I'm going to have to ring you up. You're out. Joining me now is a guy who posted that first clip of Biden on Twitter. He's the author of Always a Soldier and host of the Rob Smith is Problematic podcast, Rob Smith. So, Rob, what did I get wrong? Do you agree or disagree?
Look, I think you got it exactly right. So here's the thing. I don't think that it would be disingenuous to say that Joe Biden is some frothing at the mouth racist. What is more accurate is to say is that he has a history of these racial gaps, and he engages in what I like to call the soft bigotry of low expectations. Whereas with Joe Biden and a lot of people on the left, the way that they have been trained to see African Americans is as grocery workers, as lower income people. He said poor kids are just as bright and talented as white kids. So this is the way that he has been trained to see African Americans in his 47 years in public office. And apparently he's the person that's supposed to come fix racism and lead us to this promised land of racial reconciliation. And I think that with these comments, the biggest point that I can make is that the media lets him get away with this over and over and over again. And Eric, you and I both know if President Trump had said anything that was even close to any of those clips and those sound bites, that it would be nonstop news for weeks.
So, you know, and I went back and I actually had to edit some because there were so many, honestly. And at one point, and I played the soundbite of him talking about you can't go into a convenience store without speaking or running into someone or speaking with an Indian dialect. I mean, is it just he's an old guy? Is it just he's an old curmudgeon-y guy and we can write it off that way? Or is there something more deep-seated going on?
I think there is something deeper. So that's a part of it, right? The fact that he's a little bit older, he's used to things being a certain way. But I think a deeper aspect of this is that the left only tries to talk to African Americans in this way. What I like about what Republicans are doing right now, and what I like about what the president is doing, is that he wants to talk to people about bottom line stuff. This is how we're going to create jobs. This is how we're going to lift everybody else up. And the left just doesn't know how to talk to African Americans in this way. And I like the language of the right now that is about, don't listen to so much what we say. We're going to show you what we have done. And this is the way that President Trump has reached out to the African American community. And I think that that's why he's making so many inroads there, particularly among African American men.
About 30 seconds left, Rob. A lot of people are pointing to President Trump and his Charlottesville comment. Do you think President Trump has any racial insensitivity in him?
I don't. I've interacted with the president multiple times. I don't get that from him at all. And the last thing that I want to say is that the Charlottesville comment is a lie. I am tired of the media running away with that lie because it has been debunked so many times, the very fine people smear. So anybody that is watching, do your research. The very fine people smear is a lie, and we need to stop spreading it out.
All right, Rob Smith, we're going to say thank you very much. Don't forget the podcast is Rob Smith is Problematic. Rob, we'll talk to you again soon, my friend.
All right, thanks a lot.